was working in the BPO industry in a lot of positions for the last 12 years. It took him one dissolved account to switch over careers. And now he is a VA assistant capable of doing a lot of VA stuff. How is his life like now? And how does it compare to the BPO industry that he was with? We'll see it in this episode that we're going to be having right now. Okay, hello and good day to everyone that is truly tuning in here at the Sphere Rocket Podcast Network. Once again, I'm going to be the host for today's episode. My name is Dwayne, and with me today is one of our hired VA. This time we got Bryan, who is a real estate realtor assistant. So, Bryan, how are you doing today, and what do you eat for breakfast?
Just fine. I just ate some burger just a while ago for my breakfast.
Burger with rice or burger with
Burger
patty?
with
I don't know.
rice.
Oh, okay. I'm guessing it's from the fast food chain like McDonald's or something.
Yes, sir.
Got it. Yeah. When you say burger and fries, I guess yeah, it's either Jollibee or McDonald's. And yeah, so this early you were able to order fast food. So congratulations on
Mm.
your meal. And yeah, before we get on to the main question, so what is your background like prior to becoming a VA?
So, before becoming a VA here at Spear Rocket, I started at the BPO industry around 2010 until 2022. So, that time,
12
our
years.
account,
Wow.
yep, it's like 12 years. So, at that time, our account was dissolved. That is why I had to search for a different company or work so that I can at least support my kid. At that time, a friend of mine said that why don't you just apply here at Spear Rocket, because I tried there before. It is really a good company. So I tried to apply Spear Rocket. I even told them that I did not have any experience yet when it comes to the virtual assistant field, but at least they gave me a chance. And until now, I'm still doing that job.
Congratulations on having that. But yeah, 12 years in the BPO industry. I know BPO is kind of like a really, could be a stressful environment.
It
So a lot
is.
of people, you need to have that mental resistance in terms of the stress that BPO was able to give to you and when you're working for it. So within those 12 years, were your mindset going like, okay, this is something I'm ready to do until I retire, or
As
the back of your head there's something that's okay, maybe I'm not cut out for this, because it took you 12 years and until you got your account dissolved is when you actually switched careers or
Yes, sir.
work.
So it was kind of hard, especially at that time that been there for 12 years. So also to answer your question is yes, I am very happy in my jobs, even if it's kind of stressful, because you won't even last in the BPO even for 6 months if you do not love your job. And I've been there for 12 years. And I've been a former team leader as well. So I'm the type of person that really likes the challenge, especially for our account, which is a telco account. So everyone knows that when you're in a telco account, the stress level is very high. So at that time, I was able to manage the stress level. I was even promoted, but the only thing that happened is that the account dissolved. So even though I was still planning for to stay there for around 15, 20 years, as long as I can still do my job, then I will stay. But for now, since Spear Rocket is the one that gave me, I'm already here with Spear Rocket for 2 years now and counting. It's my 2 years this January.
Yeah, congratulations. And if you survived the BPO industry for 12 years, I mean, what couldn't you do in a stressful kind of work environment? You're
but it
battle
was
hardened.
really
Yeah.
but it was really challenging when it comes to the VA field, because when I was in the BPO, everything was being given. Everything was it's like spoon fed.
Spoon fed,
You
yeah,
have
you're getting through
you
that.
have you have a training, you have support, you have SMEs, you have your team leader to help you out, especially when you're drowning on the call. But when it comes to the VA industry, you have to do it by yourself. You have to be resourceful. You have to think out of the box to solve the issue for your customer, especially for my customer that she is really keen to details. So one, you have to be very, very exact, especially when you're in regards of your answers and to the things that she is asking you.
It's a misconception, I guess, for VA workers. Like, oh, you're a VA, so you probably just respond to emails. You probably just
Mm,
assign meetings, schedules. Your job is so easy, and you just stay at home. I think there is more to that, based on what Bryan mentioned.
exactly. Exactly.
You probably had the same thought as well when you're applying as for a VA position.
When I was applying here at Spear Rocket, I tried to check on what are the things that a VA is doing. So at that time, I thought that yes, I thought that it was just a walk in a park, that it is just easy. But when it comes to the when I was already working, oh my god, how, the best friends that
Who
I
do I
have
talk
was
to?
Google
Where's
and
my team
YouTube.
leader? Who can I ask this? Like that.
I did not have any support. So the only support that I had at that time was Google and YouTube,
Yeah,
nothing more.
Google and YouTube Academy. That's the thing. Yeah, I think you need to be resourceful, as you mentioned. And, to be
Mm,
honest, if you have internet, you have probably the best resource you have next to having an actual team leader, because nearly everything, the tasks and everything that you need to do, you can just simply search it over Google and YouTube. And you need to just have that motivation to look for it and to actually get that information to be, yeah, of good use to your client. And
mm.
I guess that was your big challenge. And how about the change of the work setup from like office to just being at home? Was that also a challenging transition for you?
I love it. That is the part that I love because at least I don't have to travel. I don't need to go out. Instead of me traveling outside, I can just stay here and rest. So more time for me to rest, more time for my family. That is why those are the things that I was also looking when I was starting as a virtual assistant to have a work from home.
Yes, the comforts of being at home, being with your
Hmm,
family, and of course, not needing to wake up 3 hours before your shift to
exactly.
get ready and face the traffic that we always face. And yeah, that is the challenging part of it. But of course, as you mentioned, there are challenges such as being extra resourceful and you need to be self motivated. And also, I guess compared to most in the BPO industry, even though most of your clients are from abroad in the USA or something, you still need to report to a local boss, which is most likely a Filipino. But how
Mm.
about working for a client directly from a different country? Is it also somewhat of a challenge for you, or are you used to it because it's similar to what you were doing before?
Yeah, even though I was in the BPO for 12 years, there's still things that I have to adjust, especially when you're already working or directly with a client. Unlike before that, you are speaking to or talking to a lot of people. Unlike now that I'm only catering to one, but it's a handful because there are a lot that she needs that I'm really focusing on. Like just a while ago, I needed to research on a specific apartment. So at that time, she just gave me all of the things that I needed, and I was the one who needed to search for the property.
Here's everything, you do it by yourself. So yeah, you imagine if
Mm,
you're someone who's used to having someone like, okay, you need step by step things, but yeah, you need to make up for your own task. And that's the I guess that's one of the challenge often that we have here in terms of how fast paced the tasks that you're going to be doing here. So you need to always constantly learn and learn and learn in order to last long in this industry. But you mentioned a while ago that if your account somehow did not get dissolved back then, you'll still be working for them, I don't know, 12, 20 years you've mentioned. So in case that opportunity do arise again, would you consider going back into the office setup? Maybe your client will offer you an office-based work. Will you opt for an office-based work, or I guess being in a remote setup is the best way for you?
even though they try to contact me again to work
Mhm.
for them, I've been with them for 12 years, so they would know and they would understand if I decline the offer. Because I'm already
Mhm.
good here. I'm already established. So why will you start again from scratch, right? When you're
Yeah.
already established.
Of course, I mean, I guess somehow I wouldn't say a trauma, but like, having your account dissolved again, that
Yes,
thought that it can happen again, and
exactly.
it would be troublesome for you. And yeah, I wanted to ask, how was Sphere Rocket actually able to process you with being hired to be paired with your client?
Spirit Rocket was very helpful, especially when it comes to the information of the client. So at least they brief us, they tell us on what are the needs of the client, so that at least we can adjust. So that time, the screening process, every process that Spirit Rocket was really flawless. That is why the only thing that you need to focus on is the things that you will be telling to the client itself.
And I guess a lot of people that are not working with Sphere Rocket have concerns because a lot of agencies, they would say it takes a lot from from the worker. Is that something you were skeptic about, when you're coming from an agency?
No, that time, because my initial interview, the first time that I had an interview with the client, I failed. But Spirit Rocket still gave me a second chance for me to redeem myself and have a client. So at that time, that was the time that I passed. So if this is just an agency that does not care to other with their VAs, then at that time that I failed, they should not give me a chance anymore. They should just be telling me that you can just apply after 30 days or 60 days, then we're just gonna reprocess your application. But no, they gave me a chance. They gave me a second chance, and that second chance I did not blew. That's why I gave it all that I can to pass
Mhm.
that interview, sir.
Yeah, I guess in the BPO industry, I know that, if you failed the interview, then you have X amount of days before you can apply again.
Mm,
But yeah, in Spirac, they believe that, you could have the perfect kind of skills, but, you need to also match. It's an issue of what the client wants. They just wanted
mm,
someone with this kind of attitude, this character. You just didn't match the character. It doesn't mean that you're a bad candidate. It's just a bad match with the client that you were interviewed for. And it's also good that, the failure made you. I'm sure that you definitely worked hard after that failed interview. You
of
probably
course,
did a
yeah,
self-diagnose. So what did I lack? Yeah.
and it's the first time that I was interviewed again for 12 years.
Oh yeah. So yeah, you're kind of not. Yeah, it's been a while. So you're used to, probably, if you were a team leader, you're used to interviewing people, but
Yeah,
you're back in
I
the
was
same position.
I was doing the interview, but now I was the one interviewed.
Yeah, it was like going back to your earlier years in the BPO industry, and I'm happy as well for you that you were able to finally get this job. And for those aspiring VAs who wanted to be a VA as well, a lot of them will probably get it hard to actually land a job as a VA. What would be your advice? So maybe it will help them land a VA job.
For me, the first thing that they need to know and need to do or to adjust is to be very resourceful. Because, like what I've said, this is not like in the BPO industry wherein everything is spoon fed. Here, you have to really work for you to finish your task. And the second part is really love your job, really love what you're doing, and everything will just follow. Because if you are very resourceful, you do everything that you can to finish your task. You love your job, everything, your salary, your career, everything will just follow.
Guess it's the passion, basically.
Mm,
And they call it the law of attraction. Like when you think that this is where you're going to get to, then the universe will align and help you get into that goal. And of course, the motivation from your mind as well will push you towards that goal. You just need to be passionate and not give up, be
mm,
resourceful as well. I mean, if you failed, you had every resources, as Brian mentioned. You have the internet, you have the Google, you have YouTube. So you have all streams of information. And also Spherocket also provides some webinars that will definitely help you as well. It's free. I don't know if you've attended any of those, Brian,
I
but
did one
yeah.
for photo editing. I
Oh,
attended one.
okay. It's a bit different, I think, from your position, or is it the same with what you're doing as well?
No, it was very different because I was from telco. So, how in the world would
Oh.
I be editing a photo? But at that time, I need to do that because I was also the one that is putting listings, property
Mhm.
listings. So at
Uh-huh.
that part, I have to edit the photo as well. So I
Yeah,
had
and
to
it's all
attend
for
that.
free, it's free
Mm,
information, and it's not only for hired. If you're already hired, it's also for people who aren't hired yet. Yeah, Sphere Rocket opens some opportunities, especially for those who never had an experience in the VA industry or any professional experience in the niches that they're gonna take on. So, Brian, thank you so much for sharing your experiences and some of the advices that you have. We're going to have a short break, and right after the break, we're going to go on with the lightning round. So, it's like a fast paced questions. And yeah, we'll be back after a few seconds in this commercial break.
Ever dreamed of swapping your hectic office for a comfy home workspace? At Sphere Rocket VA, we make that dream a reality. Say goodbye to rush hours and hello to remote work. Enjoy more time with family, more time for yourself, all while building your career. Interested? Apply now at www.spherejobs.ph.
And we are back at the Sphere Rocket Podcast Network with Brian, a real estate realtor assistant. We were talking about his experiences and a lot of advices as well that he got from 12 years in the BPO industry to transitioning to as a VA. So, Brian, hopefully you're ready for the lightning rounds right now. So I'll start off with the first question. Are you ready?
sure.
Okay, first question: day off or bonus pay?
For my client,
For you, would you consider day off or bonus pay?
day of day off.
Day off. Yeah, I think you need. You get the vibes that you're somewhat of a workaholic, and I think you do need. Everyone needs a break. Next is, what is your favorite social media platform?
Google.
Google. Okay, that's a
Yep.
first, and yeah, that definitely shows how informative you want it to be by having
Because
Google.
that is my
And
main best friend.
yes, every time you don't know, your client gives you a task that you don't know, Google how to do this, how to do that, and
Mm,
Google has the answers. Okay, what is your favorite go-to midnight snack?
Jollibee.
Jollibee. Okay, is it
Yeah,
the
because
Yum
they are open here
Burger?
24 hours.
Yes. Okay, if you're gonna order something right now from Jollibee, what would it be?
C3, the spaghetti with one piece chicken plus large
Okay.
fries.
I love how you memorize what C3 is. It made me think like, what was C3 again? Oh yeah, the chicken and the spaghetti. Okay. Okay, dream country to visit.
For me, maybe Maltas or
Malta.
Maldives.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
Maldives.
That part,
Oh, okay. You love the Pacific. Oh, not Pacific, like the ocean, the
like the
islands, I guess.
ocean. Yep. Mm.
You're not contented with what the Philippines can offer in terms of islands.
Because I've been almost all throughout the Philippines because I travel a
Okay.
lot before.
You need a new place. You need a new place to go to. Okay, understandable. What is your best online purchase and what is your next projected goal purchase?
Best online purchase that I made is maybe perhaps the screen that I have right now because I'm
Hmm.
using a double screen.
Hmm.
It makes a lot easier for me, especially when I'm doing a research for
Hmm.
my client. So
Hmm.
maybe the next online purchase that I would be doing is maybe for additional stuff for my computer to upgrade it.
Hmm.
So that is my
Well,
focus at the moment, sir.
okay, all about investing for better
Mm,
equipment for your work.
yep.
Okay, I love that. Because yeah, I think that's also one thing that people tend to not care about when they're entering the VA. They would just go for the, bare minimum kind of setup. But it's
Mm,
really helpful, really, really important to have the best kind of specs that you can afford to make your job easier. Like, yeah. So invest in equipment if you ever wanted to go into the VA industry. And last question, Brian, is one word to describe Sphere Rocket for you and
absolutely
why?
great. For me, for Spear Rocket to describe them is absolutely great.
Oh, what makes Sphere Rocket absolutely great?
Yeah, because they really care about their VAs.
Hmm.
That is why I was given a second chance.
Hmm.
Uh, for the free modules that they are giving, if you go out, they will charge you a lot for those one. But Spear Rocket is giving it for free. Plus the
Hmm.
support that Spear Rocket gave before that, especially when my client was still under a specific time frame wherein supervisor can also help when it comes to the
Hmm.
transition because at that time I also really need some help, so they were just
Hmm.
making sure that I was okay. So they were always there, so that is why for me the best way to describe Spear Rocket is absolutely great.
Yes, it's like a human level of
Mm.
care, not just like as
They
an
really care
employee,
about
but
their VAs.
yes, exactly. It's not like, yeah, and we also have some stories where some VAs were, let's say the company got bankrupt and the VA
Mm,
was performing really well, but Sphere Rocket reached out to this person and Sphere Rocket was able to find him another job. So job security is also something that's really unique from Sphere Rocket as an agency. And yeah, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and answering all the questions in the lightning round, Brian. And hopefully you're gonna have a great day. And oh yeah, you have a chance to advertise maybe your client and his or her business.
at the moment, no, because I already have a lot of tasks that I have to do. Because
Oh,
already
okay. Never
messaging
mind.
me.
Never mind. All good, Brian. I know you're quite a busy guy, but yeah, thank you so much for just being here with us. And hopefully for the listeners, we'll see you again in the next episode here at the Spear Rocket Podcast Network. Goodbye.
Do you want to apply as a Sphere Rocket virtual assistant? Well, look no further because this video is for you. I will be telling you which requirements you will need to submit in order to apply to our new website, plus a few tips and tricks to help you with your initial interview. We have achieved a better way for you to send in your application, so let's begin. Step 1. Visit our website
at www.spherejobs.ph.
Step 2. Fill in the application by inputting your full name, email, number, and other questions that you will need to answer in order to move on to the next step. Step number 3. Send screenshots of your updated CV, Tony Robbins PDF result, internet speed screenshot with a minimum of 10 Mbps, a scanned copy of your government ID, and your portfolio with sample works. Step 4. Click the submit button and wait patiently for our email. Now here are some tips on how to stand out during your initial interview. Tip number 1. Dress up as if you were going to an in-person interview. Wearing something formal will give the interviewer a sign that you are serious about applying to this job role. Tip number 2. Find a quiet space where your interview will be held. There's nothing worse than getting distracted by the noise around you and not being able to understand what the interviewer is saying. Tip number 3. Be yourself and show up as confidently as you can. Know what you bring to the table and honor your worth. Interested in becoming a part of our team? Submit your application now
At www.spherejobs.ph.
Good luck!